The Coffee Cup Killer by Chris R. Young. Nothing like a nice cold lemon tea on the back porch on a sweltering night like this. Reminds me of another case of mine. I can't remember when it was, but it must have taken place before the old mice killer. I'd just set up shop and was still finding my feet. At least I was looking for them, but mostly chasing my tail. It all began when I opened a fortune cookie and the paper slip read, "It is unwise to disturb the natural order of things." The next morning, the dame in the monochrome spotted fur coat walked in, and that was it. The natural order of things became disturbed. Chapter 1. Belinda Millinoris. Let's go back to the beginning, or the start, whichever you prefer. I was sitting with my feet on the desk, reading the paper, smoking dope, when I heard the sound of my office door squeak open, quickly followed by a splash. It was hot, damn hot. My tongue was sweating from my whole body. The fan was blowing summer street noises and exhaust fumes into my face that had drifted up from the downtown street through the open window. But then a different scent, a deadly erotic cocktail of vanilla, donut, licorice, pumpkin pie, orange, popcorn, and chocolate reached my highly tuned olfactory centers. Suddenly, I was aroused and drooling. Looking over the corner of a page, I saw a tall, graceful dame swim into focus between my geraniums. Strange place to have an indoor pool, but it came with the office. My jaw hit the floor and my eyebrows hit the ceiling as she pulled herself out of the water and stood like a drowned rat on my new carpet. She was dressed from head to tail in soaking wet, black and white spotted fur, which she was now wringing out onto my floor with long-fingered hands. This intentionally or otherwise revealed a short, blood-red silk dress underneath, clinging to her wet body and leaving little to the imagination. Fortunately, my imagination had just had its annual service. A minuscule black purse, barely enough to contain a credit card, dangled from her wrist. I had to admit I'd never seen a classier dame, except perhaps long ago, in some half-forgotten, stormy teenage dream. "Want me," the whole package screamed, "so I can chew you up and spit you in the drain." She surveyed the room with no little contempt. "So," she said, in a deep, husky New Orleans drawl, "this is the office of the great Jake Jones." "I'll take that as a compliment," I said. "How can I help you?" "Funny place to have an indoor pool," she said. "I was just thinking that." Half turning to the door, she said, "You need to get your hinges oiled." I raised an eyebrow. This was getting serious. Smoke twisted ceiling words as I stubbed the joint out in a nearby ashtray. "Lady," I said, crumpling up the newspaper and taking my feet off the desk. I was getting my buttons pushed and I knew it. "What do you want?" "'Cause I want you, but I ain't no elevator." She advanced a step and held out a slim, manicured, red, nail-polished hand. "Belinda Millinoris," she said with a knowing smile. Remaining in the relative safety of my desk, I held out mine. "Jones," I said. "Jake Jones." We held each other's hands, hers warm, soft and smooth, mine large, clumsy and calloused, and gazed for quite some time into each other's eyes. Eventually I broke the spell by clicking my fingers and pointing at her. "Don't tell me," I said. "You're a DIY expert doing the rounds, helping local businesses improve their general upkeep." "No," she said. She poured herself into one of my 2 client chairs, crossed her legs silkily and lit a long, thin cigarette. "I think I have a stalker." Somewhere the alarm of a fire truck rang out. The multicoloured ribbons on the fan fluttered futilely in its own warm breeze. That's an alliteration, by the way. I scratched behind my ear. Things just got heavy. And why would that be? She took a drag on her smoke, and while studying me intently, blew it in my face. I fought the urge to waft it away, or breathe. "Footsteps," she said, "late at night, walking home from the club. When I stop and turn around, they stop too, and no one's ever there. Damn, invisible stalkers, the worst kind." "What club?" "The Cat's Whiskers." "Wait, did you say the Cat's Whiskers or the Cat's Whiskers?" "The Cat's Whiskers." "Just one cat then?" In my job, apostrophes are critical. When a man's life is in the balance, an improperly placed inverted comma could be all it takes to tip things over. "How should I know? I didn't name the damn place." "One cat, several whiskers. Several cats, one whisker. It's all the same to me." "No," I said. "That's where you're wrong. If it were several cats, one whisker, it would be the Cat's Whisker, which is a dumbass name for a club if you ask me." "Nobody asked you." I'd been there. Low lighting, highball martinis, top-heavy cocktail waitresses with plunging necklines, Red serviettes on green felt gambling tables, the whole shebang. Lots of rich old cats. Lots of whiskers. A high-class joint, I said. You hang out there a lot? Danny and I go there almost every night. I leaned forward. Danny? I pounced on the new name like a hound on a rabbit. My husband. Your husband? I double-checked her ring finger. A long red nail tapered to a sharp point. Lethal, but unarmored. He's very sociable and often meets other girls. She crossed and recrossed her legs with a swish of satin. Almost a new one every night. Yet you walk home alone. Her eyes dropped to her lap. With an embarrassed gasp, she picked them up, plopped them back in again, and looked at me sideways. I dismissed it with a wave. We were talking about Danny, the kind, mysterious figure who drives you to a club and dumps you there. She held her chin up and gently shook her curls back from her face. You have an open relationship? I asked. Maybe she heard a subconscious tone of hope in my voice that betrayed my feelings. A B-sharp, perhaps. She twitched her nose. Her brow darkened. It appeared Hurricane Belinda was about to make landfall. You know, you men are all the same, she spat. I gotta give you up for good like these goddamn coffin nails. She took a drag of her smoke, dropped it to the floor, and pulverized it into my new carpet with her heel. Did I mention it was new? My cleaner was going to be pissed. Look, I came here to talk about my stalker. Why are we talking about me? Her face flushed with anger. And my husband. Listen, lady, I held my paws palm out in a truce. Background information. I got a nose for trouble and I follow it always. Tell me more about your other half, because it makes no goddamn sense that he drives you to a club to pick up broads, leaving you to make your own way back. Does he know you have a stalker? She sighed. No. Why not? He wouldn't believe me. Why wouldn't he? Because I lied about it before. I stared at her. To get attention. Yes, which he didn't give you. No. And now it's happening for real. She paused, broke eye contact. Yes. I thought for a second, and then said, or is it? Mistake. Her eyes were suddenly red and moist. She swept up her purse and, skirting the pool, stormed to the door, closing it with a squeak and a slam, leaving nothing but the smell of cigarette smoke and perfume in her wake, and a puddle in the chair.